Topic name is vectors. Vector implemented a dynamic array. It is similar to array list, but within two different vectors is synchronized, and it contains many legacy methods that are not part of the collections framework. With the release of Java 2, Vector was re-engineered to extend abstract list and implement the list interface, so it now is fully compatible with collections. Here are vectors constructors are 1 vector, 2 vector bracket int size, 3 vector bracket int size comma int incr, 4 vector bracket collection c. The first form creates a default vector which has an initial size of 10. The second form creates a vector whose initial capacity is specified by size. The third form creates a vector whose initial capacity is specified by the size and whose increment is specified the INCR. The increment specifies the number of elements to allocate each time that a vector is resized upward. The fourth form creates a vector that contains the elements of collection C. This constructor was added by Java 2. Next, all vectors start with an initial capacity. After this initial capacity is reached, the next time that you attempt to store an object in the vector, the vector automatically allocates space for that object plus extra room for additional objects. By allocating more than just the required memory, the vector reduces the number of allocations that must be take place. This reduction is important because allocations are costly in terms of time. The amount of extra space allocated during each reallocations is determined by the increment that you specify when you create the vector. If you don't specify an increment, the vector size is doubled by each allocation cycle. Next, vectors defines these protected data members. 1 int capacity increment, 2 int element count, 3 object element data. Next, the increment value is stored in capacity increment. The number of elements currently in the vector is stored in element count. The array that holds the vector is stored in element data. Next, in addition to the collection methods defined by list, vector defines several legacy methods. Because vector implements list, you can use a vector just like you use an array list instance. You can also manipulate once using its legacy methods. Well, for example, after you instance a vector, you can add an element to it by calling add element method. To obtain the element at a specific location, call element at method. To obtain the first element in the vector, call first element method. To retrieve the last element method, call last element method. You can obtain the index of an element by using the index of methods and last index of methods. To remove an element, call remove element method or remove element at method. Next topic is methods and definitions, methods and descriptions. Well,